Matt, what is your favorite phone for going into 2021? What is the best price to spec ratio? And that answer is going to be the LG V50. I wanted to do a sort of end of the year video for going into early 2021. And yeah, this is the best phone in my opinion when it comes to money spent, because it is currently $300 brand new on Amazon. $300 brand new, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff, as you can see, including 5G, which is crazy right now because there are a lot of budget phones coming out with 5G, but they're not nearly as good as the V50 in my opinion. So let's go ahead and just run down the V50. I want to talk about a couple of things that I want you guys to know about that you may not know. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as you guys all know, I'm a big fan of the hardware, and that's mostly because it's a completely flat design, as you can see right here, as far as the camera. So yeah, it does, slip and slide a little bit on the table and stuff like that. But honestly, it still looks really good to me. I think it's a price to pay for this look. It just looks really classy to me. That is the main thing that stands out with this phone. But as you can see, it's a glass and metal phone, Gorilla Glass 6 on the back, IPS68, dust and water resistant as well, and it just feels super solid in the hand. Now, if you don't like the bigger phone kind of feel, you can get the LG G8. It is basically the same phone almost, just missing a telephoto lens. It's basically smaller. I really like this phone simply because of that. It just feels really good in the hand. But if that's not an issue for you, yes, the V60 is not the V60, the V50 is going to be the best phone, I think, going into 2021 because it's already got 5G. It was really early to the game when it came with 5G, when it first came out. And now that the price has dropped, it's just an excellent buy for consumers that want 5G for cheap, right? So let's go ahead and keep going down. So we got our physical fingerprint scanner on the back, which is extremely fast. I've never had an issue with this physical one. I've never had an issue, honestly, with any physical fingerprint scanner. The only time you'll see like issues is when you get to the in-display one. But yeah, the physical one is very fast. You do have face unlock on here as well, which is very fast too. So like I said, going back to the hardware, glass and metal, we got a power button on the right side. We also have volume rocker, our Google Assistant button. So if I hit this button, it'll bring up Google Assistant. So it's just an easy way to access it. I'm a big fan, so I really like to have that button. Now I wish it was remappable. Now I'm sure someone has some type of hack or something like that to make this remappable, but it's currently, I don't know how to do it. So if you guys know, be sure to let me know. But you have stereo speakers on here, USB Type-C, and a 3.5mm jack with a quad DAC. So the quad DAC basically comes into play if you have a nice quality set of headphones. So I do, and you definitely can tell the difference. And LG has some pretty good equalization settings on here as well. So if you're an audio lover and you listen to a lot of music and you're really serious about it, these are going to be the best phones for you. Or you can get the V60 if you want something newer. But that's basically it for the hardware. And you have this really cool lighting 5G logo right here as well, just to let everyone know, you got a 5G phone. So let's go ahead and talk about the display. So you have a 1440p display on here, and it is absolutely a beautiful display. It's a POLED HDR10 display, 6.4 inches, 1440p, 538 for the PPI, Gorilla Glass 5. An absolutely beautiful display, gives off some beautiful colors as well. You do have a little notch right here, which you can hide if you wish to, but it does make good use because you actually have dual cameras up front, so it does make good use of that space. It's just not there for no reason. But as you can see, just a beautiful display when it comes to colors and very deep blacks. You can throw like a black wallpaper, be able to save battery life. And if you get up close, as you can see, the icons and everything just look really sharp. It actually gives off a look where it's like painted on because the pixels are just so high. And it's just an awesome display. I've always loved these LG displays here. They just look really really good to me. And it gets fairly bright outdoors as well, so that's not an issue. So overall, this is just an awesome display. All right, so with this phone, you will get Android 10 out of the box. This is the Sprint version. So let's talk about software updates. So LG has been infamous for being very slow with software updates and not supporting their phones, and the software updates do take a long time. It took a really long time for the G7 to get Android 10, and I suspect this will get Android 11, and it should get Android 12, because that would be 3 years. It shipped with Android 9, so you should have at least up, support up to Android 12. But updates are going to be slow. But with the V50, I got a security update, I think a couple of months ago, maybe a month or two ago. So they do push, security updates and stuff. I do get updates sometimes, but overall, for the big major updates, if you really want, phones that are going to get fast updates like that, I would go for a Pixel. OnePlus does a really good job of pushing updates. Samsung, pretty much anybody, almost anyone else does a pretty good job. But that's just being real. All my LG, fans or whatever already know that. Okay, so let's talk about performance on the V50. So you have the Snapdragon 855 and Adreno 640. This phone does have micro SD support along with 128 gigs of storage and 6 gigs of RAM on here. I've never had an issue performance wise, and as you guys can see, I did a full gaming test. If you guys want to check that out in detail, I did Fortnite, PUBG, and what was the other one? Call of Duty. And yeah, this phone is an awesome phone for gaming. So if you guys want to check that full video out, but you will be able to play games on high. The Snapdragon 855 is still basically a flagship chipset here, so you will be able to game on this phone no problem. So that is going to be really awesome for my gamers as well. Now you have stereo speakers on the V50, and they're pretty loud. I've never had an issue with them. They don't really distort or anything like that at max volume. So it's mostly the bottom speaker. This top speaker is really not, it really doesn't do much. You can see it, how tiny it actually is right here. I put it on the table. It's actually a fairly loud speaker, so if you're one of those people that like to listen to your music out loud or whatever, or you're just in a loud environment and you need to hear your phone, these speakers are definitely loud enough for you to be able to hear, no problem. Now this phone also comes with NFC as well for your mobile payments, which is going to be really nice. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cameras. And also guys, if you want this wallpaper, just go to my site down below. You will be able to see all of my collection of wallpapers. I try to update them as I find them, so be sure to check that out. But yeah, let's talk about the cameras real quick. So the LG V50 has a triple camera setup. It's a 12 megapixel standard, a 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 16 megapixel ultra wide. You get 4K video, 30 or 60 FPS, and you also get that dual camera setup, an 8 megapixel selfie and a 5 megapixel wide angle lens that shoots in 1080p as well. So basically, I still think the cameras are really great. So they take really awesome photos. When I take pictures with this phone, I do not install Gcam on it, or I do not take photos with Gcam, mostly because I think the stock camera app does a pretty sufficient job by itself. Now you can install Gcam on this phone, and I think get even better photos depending on what kind of photos you're taking and what you're going for. But I don't think the Gcam application is overall going to be better than the stock camera app for all photos. So as you can see, LG does a really good job with very good real-to-life color. Dynamic range is pretty solid on here. Detail, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that these photos are gonna be like the latest iPhones and Pixel like, but they are very good. I will give it like at least a B plus in the photo department. So I think these cameras are super good, and video is also really solid as well with a pretty good mic performance too. All right, so how is battery life looking on the V50? So basically you have a 4,000 milliamp battery, 18-watt fast charging with wireless charging as well, which is really nice. Again, battery life will vary depending on whether you're on 5G or not. So if you're on 5G, you're definitely going to see a drop in battery life. But on 4G, you usually get around 8 hours of screen on time on this phone, which I think is super solid. It can definitely get you through a heavy day of use, whether you're gaming or you're just like on a social media app. If you're a light user, you don't really have to worry about this phone. It definitely can get you through a day, no problem. But I've never had an issue really with battery life with this phone at all. So definitely is a win for the battery department here. So overall, I think the LG V50 is a super solid device. Like I said, I just can't think of a phone that offers so much for the price right now, because 5G is going crazy with smartphones and they're trying to get the price down. But they lack in other departments, and I think this phone kills it in every single department, in my opinion. So what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.